Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's case is the case of the San Francisco Doodler. I heard about this case in another video that I was watching and I absolutely fell in love with it. I know that sounds weird since it's a true crime case, but I did a little bit of research on it and I have my notes right here, but I thought that it was interesting, and it's an unsolved case and I haven't done an unsolved case yet on my channel, so I figured I would just do my first unsolved case on the San Francisco Doodler. So let's just jump right into the case. A little disclaimer though, this case is kind of gruesome. It is an unsolved murder of about, let me see, 16 victims. 5 to 16 dead and 3 survived. So yeah, let's just get right into the video of the San Francisco Doodler. So the Doodler, also known as the Black Doodler, is an unidentified serial killer believed responsible for up to 16 murders and 3 assaults of men in San Francisco, California between January 1974 and September 1975. The nickname was given due to the perpetrator's habit of sketching his victims prior to their sexual encounters and slayings by stabbing. The perpetrator met his victims at gay nightclubs, bars, and restaurants. So, let's see, this will be the victims, or the murders, sorry. And I'll see if I can insert like pictures of the Doodler, like the sketches that they have of him. I'm not sure if it'll show up in the video, but we'll see. It is believed that the Doodler killed between 5 and 16 people. A consistent method used in several of the killings was stabbing the victims in the front and back of their bodies in similar locations. All of the victims were white males. Police theorized that the victims had all died after meeting with the suspect near the locations where their bodies were recovered. The suspect was described as a man between 19 and 25 of African descent. He was about 6 feet tall with a slender build. Police initially believed there could have been as many as 3 different perpetrators during early stages of the investigation. Now here's the first victim, Gerald Kavanaugh. Gerald Earl Kavanaugh, a Canadian-American immigrant, is believed to be the Doodler's first victim. He was 49 at the time of his slaying, which had occurred by stabbing. Kavanaugh's fully clothed body was located on January 24, 1974, lying face up on Ocean Beach in San Francisco, California. In the early hours of the morning, he had died hours before. He was determined to have been conscious at the time. He was killed and had attempted to resist his killer because he had self-defense wounds. He initially remained unidentified, being temporarily known as John Doe No. 7 by the medical examiner. He was a single man, and a few details are available about his personal life. Sorry, as I get more comfortable in front of the camera, like doing these, I'll have like an actual set of notes like written out, so I won't have to read these screenshots, hopefully. And I apologize for my awkwardness in these videos. So here's the second victim, Joseph J. Stevens. Joseph Stevens was best known by the nickname Jay, was discovered on June 25th, 1974 by a woman walking along Spreckles Lake in San Francisco. Stevens was 27 and had died shortly before his body was found. He had been witnessed at a club the previous day. He was employed as a female impersonator and comedian. Officers suspected that Stevens was alive at the time he had been at Spreckles Lake, possibly transporting himself to the area with his killer. Here's victim 3, Klaus Christmann. Klaus Christmann, a German-American immigrant, was discovered by a woman walking her dog on July 7, 1974. His death had been somewhat more violent than the previous murders because he had considerably more stab wounds than Stevens and had been slashed in the throat several times. The body was fully clothed. Christmann, unlike the previous victims, was married and had children. The fact that he had a makeup tube on his person when he died suggested to police he may have been a closeted gay man. He remained unidentified briefly while police were investigating the cases, which they had believed were related after the third murder. He was buried in his native country, which was Germany, obviously. Frederick Elmer Kappen, age 32, was discovered on May 12, 1975, in San Francisco. He had been stabbed like the other victims, dying from strikes to his aorta. It is believed his body had been moved approximately 20 feet as disturbances in the nearby sand indicated. Kappen was identified through fingerprints when these were matched to those taken by the state due to his occupation as a nurse. He also had served in the United States Navy, earning medals while serving in the Vietnam War. Victim 4. Harold Gullberg, age 66, was a Swedish-American immigrant who was discovered on June 4th, 1975, in a decomposed state about 2 weeks after his death in Lincoln Park. He remains slightly inconsistent with the other homicides because he was far older than the others. His underwear had been taken by his killer, and his pants were unzipped. Gullberg is believed to be the final victim of the Doodler. While he remained unidentified, he was known as John Doe number 81. Now let's get into the investigation. Police questioned a young man as a murder suspect in the case, but could not proceed with criminal charges because the 3 surviving victims did not want to out themselves by testifying against him in court. Among the stabbing survivors were a well-known entertainer and a diplomat. The suspect cooperated with police during his interview, but he never admitted guilt for the murders and attacks. Officers stated that they strongly believed that the man in question was responsible for the crimes, but he was never tried or convicted because of the survivors' refusals to appear in court. To date, the suspect never has been named publicly or apprehended. Very little information is available about the crimes. 2 other potential suspects arose in 1977 after a pair of men from Redondo Beach were arrested in Riverside County, California, and questioned on suspicion of approximately 28 murders like that the San Francisco killings occurred after homosexual encounters. Status. As of May 2018, the case is open and ongoing in the San Francisco Police Department. Recent successes using DNA technology developed in the decades since the crimes have led police to re-examine evidence in the case. In February 2019, police offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the killer and released a revised sketch showing what he could look like 4 decades later. They later announced they would consider forensic genetic genealogy, which identified a suspect in the Golden State Killer murders. The aftermath. At the time, activist Harvey Milk was publicly expressing empathy for the victims who refused to speak with police, stating, "I understand their position. I respect the pressure society has put on them." Milk elaborated that the 3 men likely feared damaging relationships with family and in the workforce, citing that he believed 20% to 25% of the 85,000 gay men in San Francisco were closeted about their sexualities. On February 19th, 2019, it was announced on Deadline Hollywood that the San Francisco Doodler killer would be the subject of a TV drama series written by Ryan J. Brown and produced by UK film company Ugly Duckling Films. So that is the case of the San Francisco Doodler. I know it's short, but it was just short and to the point, and it is an unsolved case to this day. I hope that they are able to solve this case. And back then, the 3 survivors, I think, were closeted gay, and they didn't want to come out and ruin their reputation or hurt their families because back in the 70s, being gay was not normalized like it is nowadays, and they were never able to get justice for their attacks. And then the murders, the people who were murdered were never able to get justice either, since the killer was never brought into custody and confessed to the killings. So that was kind of a sad case in retrospect that, it's unsolved. So Anyways, hopefully you like this video. I thought the case was kind of interesting, so I'm going to end this here, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video.